So today we are having a discussion with the director and writer of the award-winning film Klondike, Maryna Er Gorbach, and one of the lead actresses of the film, Oksana Cherkashyna. This discussion will be moderated by Polina Buchak. My name is Maryna Er. I'm a board member and volunteer of Razom for Ukraine. And very quickly, how did Razom get involved and why did Razom get involved in all of this? You may remember, some of you perhaps, that Razom also supported the Sundance entry of Irina film in 2020. It was called The Sky is Blue as an Orange. It was also an award-winning film at Sundance, and it was also the very first Ukrainian film to be entered into the World Documentary category, and it ended up winning the Director's Award. And very similarly now, if you haven't heard the great news, the amazing news, this just happened last night, Maryna Er Gorbach was announced the winner of the World Cinema Dramatic Competition category, winner of the Director's Award at Sundance. So we're really excited, and based on our previous experience with an award-winning film at Sundance, Razom has decided that we need to support as much as possible Klondike, because it tells a very important story. It puts Ukraine on the map, and it makes the narrative of Ukraine centered, especially because this film deals with a very traumatic part of Ukraine's history, its recent history, and its history in the war, the MH17 tragedy. So we felt compelled to have this story told from a Ukrainian perspective at Sundance, because as everybody knows, Sundance, it's the premier film festival, and we desperately need more Ukrainian voices on these types of stages. So without any further ado, we will have a Q&A session at the end, but to moderate the discussion between Maryna and Oksana, the actress, who played Irka in the film, is a good friend of mine, actually, a fellow NYU alum. Polina actually graduated from NYU Tisch, which is, as if anyone knows how hard this is, it's, especially difficult for a Ukrainian, and I'm so happy to know her and have her as moderator today. She's currently in Kyiv, as are Maryna and Oksana, and I'm in snowy New York, as I think many of you are as well. And Polina actually was born in Ukraine, but raised in Nigeria. And then she went to NYU, and she leads an exciting life as a young filmmaker who has also participated in Sundance before and deals with high-profile clients. And Klondike is not a client, but is no exception to the high level of work that she's involved in. So please, Polina, take it away. I will remove myself. And let's begin the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for such an introduction, but I will be honest, I am just one of your newest, biggest fans. I mean, as a young Ukrainian filmmaker, this is beyond an honor for me, and I'm incredibly excited to be here and talk with you both, to keep doing the good work and putting our films out in the world. But enough about me. Let's dive in. So you premiered, your film has seen its first 2 groups of audiences, and you won the Best Director Award in the World Cinema Dramatic Competition. Please let us know, both of you, how are you feeling? First thoughts, how's the team doing? How's it been?
Well, it was very late yesterday. Actually, I was planning to sleep, but because we knew a bit early, I knew a bit early, we got news a day before, a night before, I should say, because it was necessary to record video. It was very late night the day before, and it was announced again late night the next day. And I don't know, it's very strange feelings because we are still online. I want to share good news with crew. We even were planning to organize small party but we learned that one of our crew members just got ill coronavirus, and we decided that we should stay at home and not to risk, because we are planning to go to Berlinale. We need fresh, healthy crew members on red carpet to continue festival life of Klondike. I was touched by a description of award, actually, because it was sent to my email, and I think that it's very important that it was really described what we were trying to do, and it was underlined about direction, because still Klondike is not that usual story to be told. It has its own style, own cinematographical language, and it was very important that performance of leading actors, and especially of Oksana. I think she's a star of Sundance 2022. I saw her name in each article. There was not any one critic article without reminding her performance. I think that this is also very great, and the jury underlined. And so yes, I was really touched by this description, and that we could bring this story backside of news, because there are lots of news about Ukraine now, about geopolitics, about war, about Putin, about Russia, but suddenly we were available to bring, this small piece of humanity, small piece of people's life in that conditions, to bring life generally, to separate ourselves from war, and we were available to distribute this humanity idea to the people who are truly involved in news. That was very important, and for that I'm really very happy.
That's beautiful. Oksana, if you have anything to add to that.
Yes, of course. I will be much more emotional, because I knew about that only last night, and I didn't suspect that we will win something. That's why I was like screaming, shouting, and was very happy for Maryna, for Klondike, and for Ukrainian cinematography, and actually for Ukrainian people, because I think it's really somehow a historical event when you can shout about your story and about your narrative, your point of view as a Ukrainian citizen. That's why I'm only happy right now and all this day. And I started my presence in Sundance as a big success, as a big happiness. And tonight it turned to be even bigger. So my party, my holidays are so long and so emotionally bright. So congratulations again to Maryna and to all our team.
It's also was very interesting, because we still have a chat in Telegram, like all of us since shooting, like 40 people or even more. And we have, of course, PR members in that crew, and we were thinking that probably everybody is sleeping and we should publish news in morning, as people will wake up and we will publish. But then people start to write to chat, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. It was 1 o'clock night. We were not thinking that nobody is sleeping, and we say, okay, let's publish that news, because it's obvious that people also are waiting just in silence. So that moment was exciting.
I was definitely in my bed holding on to my Twitter and trying not to scream out of happiness when my mom is sleeping somewhere next to me. So I was one of those people with you up late. But yeah, I mean, again, huge congratulations to both of you, your team. Beautiful, just absolute gorgeous film. But let's just go back to the origin of the story. One of my mentors has said that art can either show us an alternate universe that we could live in, or reflect our real life. And Klondike is a very real story, and it is felt more than anything today. So where did the inspiration for Klondike, your story, come from? Was there ever a moment of this is my story, this is what I want to tell, and this is why I need to tell it?
To be honest, the real inspiration of Klondike came from big fears, to be really honest, because I would not tell you that I was that brave woman to go fight against Russia. No, I was scared about all that events. I was really worried about my parents, because they live in Ukraine. I'm basically living in Istanbul. I was following all that news, and I was emotionally connected a lot. And then in one moment, I was that much emotionally connected that I understand I become, kind of the victim, that I start to afraid, and that feeling I hate on myself, because I understand that that's what actually enemy want. They want me to afraid, to grow them inside me, to grow and to spread this idea that we can do nothing and we are just victims of that militarism, and that I hate. And I was thinking that if I think about that so much, if it disturbs me so much, if I have profession in my hands, probably there should be a way to talk about that. There should be a way to express this all. And Klondike's camera shooting style and the observation of all that events, it's something about what I was feeling when I was reading all that news, talking to people, observing refugees' life in Kyiv and so on. There are always these three layers of catastrophe, people, Irka, Yarik, Tolik, their family life, and the feelings which me or you, when you are watching the movie, could get through way of telling this story. And yes, and then I just decided that I should try to do something, not to afraid that much, but to transform this pain to art. You know, this great sentence, take your pain and make it art. Art still works perfectly, I think.
I mean, yeah, if art can do anything, it's definitely can teach how to heal with time and the way for us to express ourselves. But Oksana, what exactly attracted you to this material, and how did you feel when you got the call that you are Irka?
I felt honored, first of all, and I was very surprised that there are such kind of directors as Maryna, because with me, I don't know, but I suppose that Maryna, like with each of her actresses like this, I was surprised that a director can, how to say, communicate with me like on the same level without any hierarchy. And I was really surprised that Maryna invited me to join her in her process of creating movie. Just not invited me to make some role or some part, just she invited me totally. And I didn't feel that I'm just a function in this movie. I felt like Maryna makes me, how to say, makes me a real
bright color. You're a bright color.
Yes, I'm a bright color. But it makes me a real actor, in a meaning like actor who is acting. And that's why someone I don't remember already asked me about this question, how did I said yes or decided to take part in this material. I will tell you the truth, I had no choice. Because usually actors never will say no in this kind of communication, firstly, which I want to mention, and of course in this kind of material, because I think it's also in an acting life, it's a big happiness to have such material in my life, and this kind of material, this kind of story and of communication between me, Maryna, and team will be with me for all my life, because it's a movie, it's already ready, and now I have this in my memory, in my heart. So I feel grateful and honored and happy.
That is incredibly beautiful, especially when you have and you feel this community feeling within your crew. I mean, it cannot replace any other feeling. But to talk more a little bit about creating the characters, well, this is kind of a question for both of you. Maryna, how were you able to create Tolik and Irka and Yarik? What inspired these characters? And Oksana, more for you, how did you find your Irka? You know, different actors can be portraying characters in different ways, but specifically for you, how did you find her?
Yeah, let's say start. I think I was lucky to see Oksana. I really believe that this is kind of destiny when one director can see the actress, which is exactly 100%, looks like the ideal match for your movie. And I saw Oksana in theater, Театр на Лівому березі, and she was not acting in cinema before, right? Right, yeah, because then was Bad Roads after that. And I was looking a woman to who you will trust, that she could resist violence. You know, these last episodes, last 30 minutes of film, that was the main muzzle of the movie, where we were going to. Even it's shooting so slowly and sometimes soft and sometimes, you know, like truly beautifully. And maybe sometimes it could seem that we are not going to slap anybody, but we knew where we are going. And the cast was, Oksana's cast was the principal, and the main selection was about that last 30 minutes. That was very important. And then I saw her, and I just start to Google from where this girl came. And she's from Kharkiv, which was also very important. And probably if you knows language, it's clear that she knows the region, the mentality, the language, the specification of some things about that region. It's also very important. And I just saw her very talented actress, and I wanted to make everything to spark her talent, you know, because when you see that talent somebody and you understand that she was not discovered for that moment, then it's a huge motivation to push process, you know, to make as much as possible.
That's an incredible, valuable lesson to me also as an aspiring director. So thank you for that. But yeah, Oksana, how did you find your Irka? How did you prepare for the role?
Thank you again for your question. As I already said, that we with Maryna, we really were partners, creating everything. And my work was, you know, to be prepared, not during the shooting, but to be prepared in advance. And it means that before we start shooting, like for a month, I've already, like a sportsman, was training some habits of my heroine each day, because, you know, she's pregnant and it's another kind of woman as I am. Like where each time I'm watching myself on the screen, I'm like, oh my God, who is this woman? And like I was training for a month each day, because I never was pregnant and I never gave a birth yet. But it was very how to say, important to me to be on a shoot like ready for 100%. And I will add more that before we started shooting, Maryna has this kind of work that she was rehearsing with us, but not rehearsing scenes from the movie, not to just to, how to say, reproduce them. Then we were rehearsing the scenes from our life before the movie started. Like we were rehearsing scenes when we met with Tolik, for example, or our first quarrel, or the day when Tolik knew that Irka is pregnant, like this very moment, and how he reacted, and did they really waited for this baby, or it was by a sudden. So, and the same about communication between the brother and my husband, because as you saw, it's very tense, and that's why all these little things, all these little, how say, our emotions we did before we started to shoot. That's why when we were already at Odessa, where we made shooting, I think we and my fellow partners of this movie were so much ready that the concentration was the only thing I needed on a shoot, because everything, like how I talk, how I move, what emotions towards my partners I have, I knew that I should be concentrated to make everything as clear as Maryna and Slavik DOP wanted us to make. But it was a very inspiring process, and it wasn't hard. It was really like fun. And I also was surprised after I watched the movie, it's really very dramatic. And I was so surprised that our process was so full of light and love. And that's why I also burst of crying. But I played this movie and I was so much surprised that as if it wasn't me who made this movie. And that's why I decided it's a really good movie, that I even couldn't recognize myself and the things we were doing on the set. Thanks a lot.
That's incredibly beautiful. Actually, my follow-up question for that was, it's just we get to see only Irka and totally on screen for a couple of days, but you can feel how rich and how deep their history goes. and with Irka as well. So it's incredibly beautiful to see that. In fact, and you started talking about the stylistic choices you made for your cinematography, Maryna, and how that also obviously, I mean, you've definitely heard people mention such long shots. So I wanted to kind of ask about what was the significance of picking this type of style? Why does it work in your film? And why such long shots in general?
If you will have a chance to Google teaser of Klondike, they have it still on Ukrainian State Film Agency YouTube channel, I guess, and somewhere in press. There is this long shot in car with Oksana. Actually, we shoot it before movie, and it was kind of very, very important video for us. Because I knew from the very beginning that the philosophy of movie is something like there is life, like these long shorts, and things, dramatical events, life, and so on. They are just coming in your life, you know. It's like that, and that's why it was important to tell the story by blocks, because we can say about our life that happened. That was a period when happened Emash, or when that was a period in our life when happened I study at school. You know, it's always like kind of blocks, and you are living this period. You have name for this period in your mind, but still smaller events also coming inside. So that blocks, it was about that, and I remember also my own feelings, and I never feel that all the dramatical events, like, you know, very fast, like I remember I got news about MH17 and I just froze, or I just become blind, you know, like we are working with lens in movie. We have many takes in the focus. You just want really to force yourself to say, really, is it happening? Really, do I hear right things? Is it happening? And that kind of communication with myself and with this informational space helped me a lot to find these solutions of visual style. Yeah. So basically, it was about this philosophy, and it was very important to find the right crew. And that's so much also about our DOP, Svetoslav Bulakovsky, because he jumped just from producer's chair to DOP. Oh, wow. He's DOP, but he started this movie as producer. And then we understand that we need so close communication, and we worked before with Slava also, with all departments, that it was made this decision, and in the beginning of shooting, and then we continue like that. Yeah, mostly we were waiting for right weather, right colors, and I would say never for actors. They were just so well prepared, and so like from there, from that atmosphere.
What I was gonna ask, how does, you know, this long takes, you are you know, for you, Oksana, you're on camera for a lengthy period of time, you know, we don't cut. How did it feel? Was it challenging for you? Yeah, you know, just reactions, because it's a very distinct style.
Yes, but I want to mention that Maryna told me at the very beginning of the shooting, I don't know, Maryna, if you remember this, that Maryna actually told me that everything will be very light, there will be no problems, but be prepared that sometimes in a kadraj, I need to do something so perfectly, like a ballet, like a choreography, that you should be prepared, that you do remember this, Maryna? Yes, you told this. And that's why I would like to say that I was somehow prepared for this, I don't know, it was a challenge, it was like a game, but I like the challenges, you know. I'm such a kind of a person that if somebody tells me I have a challenge for you, I'm talking like, oh yes, challenge, finally. That's why I felt like I had adrenaline, and I don't remember, I have already told about this scene, this first scene when the bomb goes into the house. I remember that this is the moment when we made like cameras 360 degrees around, And during this going around of this camera, me and my partner Sergey, we had to do like scenes in 3 different locations. And like it's 3 different scenes. Like first of all, something is happening, but you don't know what. In second location, he is asking you to go somewhere, but you don't know what. Then bam, and then you have to play some reaction. And I remember that this was really challenging because while we were in the cadrage, this I don't know how to say, this kind of bump was reaching into a place where we are. So I was like going through this bump in my house, like really with whole my body, with this smell of this something, I don't know what. But actually, again, I will tell lies if I'll say that it was hard. It was challenging, yes, but this was this kind of a challenge which you are happy to be a part of, which challenges you not so much that you are going to your borders and you're after shooting you're like that. No, it's this kind of challenge which each day was giving you more and more energy, because you were like, oh, I can do this, oh wow, I can do this, and also I have this in my experience. That's why I can say that I became, even as a professional actress, much more professional after this shooting. So this was for me a big workshop working with Maryna as well, and with my partners, of course.
I also think that it's a lot about trust to crew. I think they just trust to us, because there was so many times about sunrise and sunset. It's colors of movie, and sometimes we just need to catch these lights. And when actors trust you, when you have that very close communication, you can ask directly what you need. You know, you don't spend your time to make her agree or to explain all subtext of the episode. You can just say, here we fall, here we make this, here we make this, and please in this way, and they make. This is, I think, the real cooperation. You know, when there are few episodes where Sergey also is acting, and it also was something like that. I totally understand that they don't see what I see, because I have monitor and I imagine how it will be in final cut, because still we are in small puzzles, but I am in whole movie and I'm shooting small puzzle from the whole movie. But when you have that kind of communication and trust with actors, you should don't spend your force and your, you should not force these explanations, and then you just ask something very concrete, something very exactly, and they do. And I think it's also about general atmosphere of all shooting, because they were very well cared. We love them, they know this. We were appreciating to them, and this inner light and all this sun atmosphere which we had on shooting, it was very important to keep it out of set, because the topic and the concentration was really high level, So we work and then we just relax and smile and eat sweets and eat generally. We were eating and then again we work so hard and disciplined and so on, and then again we relax and just smile, because it was very important, to keep this dramaturgy and life. It was absolutely important, and I guess, and I'm very happy for that nobody from the crew didn't got some mental sickness or some mental problems after set. Even it's talking about very tough things, and if somebody didn't watch movie, maybe can read what people write, but we finished the process nicely, and that's also very important. That's absolutely important.
I mean, it cannot be, for a film like this with the themes that you're dealing with, it's just so important to have a crew where you feel like your family. Like there's no borders, there's no filter. You just say as it is, and taking care of each other.
It was very funny how we were casting, because we were casting all crew members. They was coming to us and I was saying, listen, if you will not be happy on set, please leave the set, because the topic is so hard that we cannot keep anybody who will take energy from us. It's impossible. If it's hard for you, if it doesn't work, please just leave the project. We will pay all the money, but don't stay. And I said to everybody, and then there was one of last people who we add to the crew. It was makeup and hairstyle department. And I was really looking for some artists, and I'm sure that our Ksenia Halchenko and Nadia Monko, they are really artists. And I said to Oksana, come, because I will talk to them, but I really want you to smell Oksana and Ksю and Nadia, because you stay in one room. And if your energy is not matching, you know, they have this Grim Wagon and such kind of places where they're very close. If their energy is not matching, then actress can come to sets another, you know, she can spend her her feelings or conversation or concentration to another people, and then she can be unhappy or empty or whatever. And so Oksana was the person who said, yeah, they're perfect girls, they help me, and they're really very friendly and big professionals. I'm very proud of their work in movie. And yeah, so it's important to cast the crew. It's also very important.
Of course, of course. I mean, again, given the difficulty and the layers of the story that you've got in your hands, were there ever a moment, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Was there ever a moment where you felt, I might not be able to finish this movie? Or was it just, we gotta do it, there's no way out?
Yeah, I had. I don't know if Oksana had it, but I did. I had. We lost Sergei Shadrin, who is acting Tolik, in June, and I was just before final sound and color correction, so I still need to be in a very concentrated moment. And I was very happy that he acted, and this was also first feature for him, like leading role. And he made wonderful work, but it was kind of hard challenge still. I was dreaming that we can share these showings all together. That was physical challenge, I would say, because it's something which you cannot change. And psychologically, the challenge was not to promote war, even we are shooting film about war. From the very beginning, as a director, I was thinking that I will do everything, you know, talking about that topic, very available to promote the aesthetic of death and so on. That I will challenge to. I want to challenge to work with viewers' imagination, but like people to represent them. Please, you can find in your imaginations what we are talking about, but not to take viewers' face to all that atmosphere and all that you know, what is around catastrophe by itself. And I know that there are lots of viewers, people who are watching movie from festivals, programmers, and so on, that they appreciate for that, because they say this is maybe one of that valuable sides of the movie, that yes, we are talking about catastrophe, we are talking about dramatic events, but it's solved in a cinematographic way, and it still works on our imagination, and it's possible to show to wider auditories, and not to bring this main message, which we come in end to the movie too, not to bring to aesthetic of war, aesthetic, like, you know, like to this. And yeah, for me, it was very important.
No, I totally hear you. Oksana, was there anything from your side that you felt incredibly challenging, or was it, you know, you trust in the team, you do the work and you get it done?
To say the truth, I didn't have a moment when I wasn't sure that we will finish the movie, or I won't finish my road in this movie as an actress, because after I made shooting, my work on the film stopped. Like, but Maryna was still working on the movie through a year, like making everything. That's why I think I don't have this moments of desperation, let's call it like this, but a challenging also for me. It was so challenging in a tone which I use creating Irka. Just I was challenged to find a tone when I will not judge anyone for his or her I don't know, decisions or way of thinking. And I understand it only later after I watched the film that it's so good that I didn't didn't play the result as an actress, that I knew my road, which Maryna like perfectly explained me. And I wasn't playing like some, resultative things. Like I think about this situation, this and that, or I think about what happened about this war which burst out on the territory of Ukraine. Like as me, as a citizen, as Oksana, I know this statement in my side, of course. But as the Irka, as this heroine, I felt that I didn't make this resultative work or this kind of using our film as propaganda. And it's very, very, very important for me because after I watched this film, it was more, of course, it has a very strong political message because like we cannot live without this political message right now. We as Ukrainians, our country is like in war. But it's so private movie for me, and so I don't know, it's called psychological movie for me, that I was really excited to watch my partners and their roads in this movie, because I also cannot, I was watching them working, but of course I worked also, and while watching a film I could really go through this road of Tolik, my husband, played by Sergei, wonderful Sergei Shadrin, or my brother. And I was like really surprised that this is so full of life and full of just real situations which are happening with people, normal people, and people sometimes get lost, especially when the world is collapsing. And as we see now, our world is collapsing. And like the very last sentence, which I want to say, that when I started to make this movie, I was dreaming, like I already said that somewhere, that I was dreaming that this war, till we have a premiere, will end, like, like radically end. Like not like now that it's turning to be even more worse, and we don't know. And now we have a premiere and this didn't happen. And that's why I feel like really close to desperation, like really now, not while making a movie. But anyway, it's very good to have this piece of a movie where you can reflect on what is happening with us as normal people of this country.
Right. Well, actually, based on what you mentioned, Maryna, sort of talking about the perspective that you chose to tell the story from. I mean, a little bit of a spicy question, if I may. Where it came from an observation from my family. Up front, I made everyone sit and watch the premiere with me. So there's a lot of discussions going on. And, we're all used to watching so many different types of films that talk about the political state and the war, whether it's Winter on Fire or The Earth is Blue and Orange. And each of these films have a very different perspective of how their approach to how they tell the story of our war. Yours, Klondike, has a very particular angle. And so I wanted to ask, how did you decide to identify this Russian aggression that we're dealing with the past 8 years? And your story starts from the very beginning of it. And how were you able to convey this to your viewer?
Did I? We should ask viewer. I never want to make movie which promote Russia, which give this idea that there is a huge country and they can do everything, and that is not my business. I even mostly my comments which I am saying, and somebody ask about Russia and so on, I don't write Russia. I change, and I am talking about Ukraine. I do it always, because I think as much as we will talk about Russia, we just give our force and our creativity to our neighbors, which has strange for me ideology to war non-stop, and that's not my work. That's why you can see locals in Hrabove, about the village we are talking about. The locals as they are, as I'm observing. I'm not lying. I'm not making hero from anybody. I'm telling about people which I'm observing, and you see not locals. And you see the events which are happening in that facts, which we could tell in summer 2019 when we were shooting the movie, because the all court and judge thinks that they're still and they were continuing, and we were operating about the facts which we could say that was the fact and we have proofs. And please, as a viewer, manage in your imagination, if you will go inside movie by our telling style, you can see something more back of that images. You know, when you see Tolik is washing himself and there are lights back of him, some people can say, what is this? Is it dust? Didn't they delete in post-production? But if you are inside movie, you will see them in next episode. You will understand that, you know, there are these layers. There is family, and there are this life. There is this life, and all things about war events. So that was the point for me, to promote Ukrainians, to go through international catastrophe, but to price life same, because we have, you know, like couples of foreigners who come and they are strangers in the movie. And when we come to abroad and sometimes meet with people, we are also strangers for them. So yes, I know maybe it was very brave, like, you know, to make that replacement, but it was what I wanted to do. I wanted to make main Ukrainians, like, yes, it's international catastrophe, but we are talking through local people.
I think that's incredibly important. And honestly, thank you for entertaining the little spicy question that I've got. Kind of talking as a aspiring Ukrainian filmmaker, you know, we, again, as I mentioned, we've seen so many different films about war that talk about the political state. But why do you think it's important to keep talking about these subjects, to keep making stories like this?
We will lose if we will not talk
about it
without any war. Even if we will win in border, we will lose in media space, in international community, in national community. If there is example of that kind of movies, not only ours, there are lots of movies now from Ukraine which are coming, and we are just continuing to do. We say to audience that we are brave, we are creative, we love our country, we are not going to give up, we are not victims, we don't afraid. You know, like lots of things possible to say just by making movies, lots of. And I personally just could not to do, like, not to talk.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I guess one last wrap-up question. You know, given the state of current affairs in a time where we feel like the world can seem a little bit dark, you know, art in any medium is incredibly important. What would you give as an advice to the young aspiring artists, to, you know, to continue pursuing the work in the art?
Let me give a voice to Oksana, and then maybe I will join.
I think that watching at everything that is going right now, not only in Ukraine, but all over the world is really collapsing. Revolutions, wars, catastrophes, coronavirus. And it's really, even for me, it's very, like, I'm very close to desperation. Like, each day, it's turning to become a survival, not like thinking about art, you know. And somehow I found a way, not only in cinema, but I'm also a theatrical actress, when art can become this kind of healing, like therapy, when you can express with the help of art something that's really so inner in you, so inside you, and you can express it and be more free in a way, be more, I like this word, emancipated. Emancipated from trauma. War trauma is a big trauma. Emancipated from, you know, this not believing in your future, because like a lot of problems. That's why I think art is a really good style for life. Actually, I don't think that art is my profession. It's more like, I don't know, my style of life, my style of investigating this life and myself, and of course of creating communities, of creating how to say this invisible. I don't know how to say it in English. Sorry, networks with people, and after you make each project, you will never lose these people because you're turning to be like friends, like family. And I think this is most important in art because it becomes a real part of your life through the people you meet. And I think it's inspiring. That's my word.
Yeah, it's totally true. So I also think that if art or creation or whatever people make, if it helps to be more happier person, because I know my feelings after shooting of Klondike. I was very happy. I realized what I dream, and even it was hard physical work, but you know inside yourself that you can say, you know, like we did something, and it helps in all communication with world. If it helps the person to communicate with world, if you feel yourself lighter, even talking about very hard things, but like lighter, I think it's okay. It can be art or some another things which people do, but this point of happiness doing something, this is very right, you know, right step to check, are we okay or not on our road.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I do wish and hope for you both more beautiful projects, more impactful stories that to continue breaking the doors for us, the Ukrainian artists and talents, into the big American and the world cinema. Again, thank you so much for the work that you've done with your team already, because it's incredibly inspiring coming from a young Ukrainian filmmaker myself. You know, thank you for letting us know that people out here are looking for our stories, they're hearing us, and we are being heard. That's all the questions for me, but I would love to invite Maryna from Razom back into here to help us pick some questions from the audience, and we invite the audience to write your questions now.
Yeah, and I also want to thanks to Razom, because it was very fast decision when I come with this I don't know how to say question, can you be partner? And I believe that we will continue our cooperation even after Sundance. It's important for this movie to live long life in States, and I'm sure that we will be very cool partners. We are trying, we do very good photographs, we know how to make it. Okay. Thank you for support.
Long live Klondike. That's all I have to say. And Razom wants the film to continue to succeed. And actually, one of the most often asked questions, even here, is how can people see the movie? So if you missed it in the beginning, Maryna actually told us that you can go on Sundance, the Sundance Festival website, and purchase a ticket to view Klondike until January 31st. That's not a lot of time, but please take this opportunity if you weren't able to join the screenings last weekend. Go on either the Razom Facebook or the Instagram or any of the Klondike social media platforms and find that link to get a ticket and watch this film. I hope those of you who weren't able to see it before are inspired and motivated to see it now and support it, because in the end, it's not so much that the jurors like it or the people who attend Sundance like it so much, but it's the people and how far the story goes. So please, if you have a chance, if you have the time, watch this film, go get a ticket. I believe it's already announced that in Ukraine, the film will be in theaters next year. Is this true?
Yes, we are working for that. We want to leave this festival here. It's very important all around the world to show movie in different platforms and festivals. We have very good feedbacks from another big festivals. So it will, I think Klondike will have very good life. And then we are planning to do presentation in Ukraine and to go distribution in autumn. That's now ideal plan. I hope COVID and other stuff will not be enemy of the movie.
Of course, of course. And speaking of the virtual coronavirus world, at the end, I will invite people from the audience to join this stage setting to congratulate Maryna and Oksana on their film. So get your cameras ready now if you would like to join in on the fun, but we'll go ahead and take some questions because there's actually quite a few of them, but I hope I answered the biggest one, which is how to watch this film so far. So the first question is actually, here we have to be careful to not do any spoilers, but the question is from Irina B. Did the baby survive in the film? But if, in other words, she wrote this very nicely, did the baby survive? In other words, is there still hope for Donbass and Ukraine?
If you will have chance to watch movie on big screen, you will have answer. I promise to you by yourself, no need me to spoil. And it's very important to understand the time of movie. And we also were talking about with Oksana about final episode. It's obviously very important. War is not finished. And before movie and after movie, there is life still, real life. Like we are starting movie from the black scenes. It's a scene, it's black, but it's an episode. And movie is finishing with very strong, in my mind, statement and leave you a question which belong to real life, not only the episode you are watching. And the real question is, what is happening there in that territories in Ukraine totally, even after you close your movie and you think where we are now, what's happening in that territories. So it's not only about that one baby, it's about the whole situation.
Thank you. Oksana, maybe you want to, since you were the person delivering the baby in the film, if you want to make a comment maybe about the future of Donbass in Ukraine based on how you experienced this scene.
Actually, I love this scene very much because of what Maryna told just before, that it leaves you with a question. But of course, I won't do any spoilers right now, telling like yes, yes, no, no. But from the behaving, I will help a little bit. From the behaving of my heroine, you can understand if the baby survived or not, because like she's behaving in a way.
And from music,
can understand
and from music.
Yes, yes. But I really agree with Maryna so much. Even though I played this episode while watching the movie, I was like asking my teammates who are sitting by me and asking, did the baby survive? Like it also was my question, and I'm very happy that Maryna has this kind of an answer, because it's very important not to make statements in a movie like this, but to ask questions which we have to answer, because we have to answer these questions as citizens of this country.
I think it's important to leave worry to viewers. Well, I just want them to worry about local people in Ukraine. Worry, please. Like, no, it's not a solution to say, yeah, everything that or that or that. Even it's much more clear in big screen in cinema, but still it should leave worry. It should.
Thank you. That was an incredible answer. And I guess I'll go on to another question. Dora Khomyak, the president of Razom, writes, "It's fascinating to learn about the process of making the film. How long did that take? Over what period of time did you do those rehearsals of the backstory? Was it months? Was it weeks? What was the general timeline for the film?"
We met with Oksana 2018, 19, 2000, no, when we met, 19 or 18. I don't
I do
remember the
remember.
year. The 1 year before we shoot, and we had the teaser, and we celebrate our we celebrate that the Ukrainian State Film Agency supported project. It was like 80% of total budget. This was second time when we were trying to get support, not the first one. And then I started to prepare the project about cast, about all and other things. And then happened coronavirus, and we all locked. And that also was very interesting because we were locked at our houses, and Oksana was preparing because we knew we will shoot, even we didn't know what will happen with financing and so on. She was preparing, she was writing pregnancy diaries and so on. She had mini studio at her house, and we were working with art consultant on Zoom. We have very cool Marketa Korenkova. She's living in Berlin, she's Czech, and she's like a high professional person, which would be impossible to have each day on developing a project if there is no coronavirus, because she would work somewhere all around the world. And it was each day 2-3 hours we was working to find beauty, as we were talking. And then I was in Istanbul during coronavirus, and there was the help of International Affairs Ministry, because they organized an airplane for evacuation of cancer ill people who are waiting in Kyiv, in Ukraine. They should come to Istanbul, and the Ukrainian diaspora community, they paid tickets, 2 sides, to bring that people, and who wanted to go to see their relatives in Ukraine was flying back through Bulgaria. It was very, very interesting experience, I would say, in empty Istanbul airport to see close to 60 ill people coming, and we were going with same airplane. It was something about bigger understanding of life. And yeah, I came, and it was 5 of January, I guess, June. 5 of June, and we started to work immediately. The preparation, meetings, conversations, we even were trying camera with actors, like to see how it works on their skin, to select right settings for their faces, and so on. It was very, very important about colors, costumes, and so on. And we finished end of October, same year. So yeah, it took time, and we built decoration also during all that. Not so much time, I would say, but compressed, concentrated.
Well, similarly, there's another question. Where did the filming take place, and how did you do the research to visually recreate all the tiny details? Because for those that have seen the film, it's incredibly detailed and incredibly accurate, I would say. But it was also interesting to me to find out where it was actually filmed.
We started to look for location 2017, before we applied for the very first time to Ukrainian Film State Agency, and we just asked help from National Geography Institute because we knew that we are talking about very specific village, and we want to find that one that's similar. And they helped us. They gave us few locations which had same geography and landscape and feeling of main geography, and it was in Kharkiv, around Kharkiv, closer to Russia. It was in middle Ukraine and in Odessa. It was 2 places, close to Odessa and close to Moldova. And then our from the very beginning, our producer, and then later our DOP Slava, while there was coronavirus and nothing was working, he just take a car, take canned foods and such kind of things, because there were no hotels, and he started to drive all around for the first tour he was driving all around Ukraine and shooting photographs, sending to me. And then we come closer to Odessa. And we started to search there. And there was even less places because the landscape is very important. And finally, we find it's very close to Odessa. It's just 45 kilometers from the main city. So we could manage logistical questions. You know, when you are shooting about village, it's very important where crew will live, how they will eat, where is clean water and all that stuff. And it managed in Odessa district.
Great, thank you. We'll just do 2 more questions. I know you have busy schedules, so we'll try to wrap up. And I know you're still celebrating, which you should be. This is a question I'm sure you get so much that you know it like the back of your hand. But why Klondike? What is the connection to the Klondike region or the Yukon, the Gold Rush? What is the explanation behind the title of the movie?
For sure to rush, as we name it, for war rush. But yeah, it was a challenge also to start from States, and it was a strategy, I would say, because when we just finished movie, the very first festival was Sundance, and even we were talking with Oksana in Odessa before that, and I was like, have this kind of my mind discussions, you know, how to manage the wider auditories, how to go, and it's very important which festival is watching very first. It's very hard to you know, like to play double. You should be very sure where you want to start. And the movie was named Klondike, really to talk about Donbas region also as a very rich industrial district, at least in past times, and to propose to media or to journalists, to opinion leaders to think about that question as well. You know, like, yes, the geography of a country is its destiny, but the geography of Donbas and its industrial position is also a destiny of this region. And we are not pushing on that in movie. There is only one episode where you can feel that this is something like industrial, because Hrabove by itself is not in the middle of industry of Donbas. It is not. But it's still a proposition to get movie closer to USA viewers, to be hooked by this question, why it's called like that, to talk about Donbas as industrial region, and to talk about locals and non-local people. So it was this symbolical name to connect with that topics.
Also note that in the Q&A, you mentioned that there's an unofficial explanation to Klondike.
Unofficial explanation, there is Russian computer game where one people came and kill another. It is very popular.
Fun, sounds fun, a fun game. So we'll end with another big question, an important question for both of you, Maryna and Oksana. How have your families and close friends responded to the film? Have they seen it? Did they know about it, that you were filming this at all? How did they react to everything, to Sundance, to all the media that you're getting, everything?
Let me give chance to Oksana to tell about family reactions to the fact of Sundance. And my sister watched, I can say what she said when she watched the very first draft.
Our family still didn't watch the film because we only watched it as a Sundance Festival members. And that's why our families are waiting for Ukrainian premiere to watch the film. But of course, my family knew about the film, knew about the story, and like they supported me so much, and I got a lot of congratulations when we were selected to Sundance, and of course tonight when Maryna won this big prize. That's why my family is very supportive, but they're still waiting to watch the movie. And my mother felt. that she's preparing napkins, because I told her that it's a very, very dramatic movie, and she said, "Oh, again, my daughter on the screen, and again some drama." I said, "Sorry, Mama."
My sister watched the first draft, and I called to her. I said that we got award in Sundance for best directing. She said, and because she doesn't know that there are only 4 and should be much more nominations. And I said, and we got award for best directing. And she said, and only 1, you should get 5, 6.
Right.
List. She was waiting like it will menu. I say it's very cool that yes, of course, but it was very funny, and it was very, like fresh real reaction. It was really funny. Yeah, she believed in the destiny of the movie, and generally my family, they support so much, because this hard topic, they understand that I'm giving from my psychology, from my physic resources, and I'm like spending myself as well. It's not easy each day to work with that images and with that material, and I see even how I'm changing during this process. I know I will be better, I will come to myself, but the very last months before we sent the DCP to Berlinale and before we finish, I think I was never that tired emotionally before, never ever. And each time that we should watch a movie from the very beginning till end, making sound, color, everything, each time you are giving, like you are coming to life and you are dying each time. This 100 minutes to be really concentrated, to really to finish movie in that quality that you are dreaming about, you need that 100% concentration. You cannot just say, okay, let's go drink coffee. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, last month was really, it was a big challenge, especially after coronavirus, and I was in this post-COVID. But okay, now it's better, and family is supporting a lot, and it's very important. And my husband, who is also co-producer from Turkish part, Maryna Er, it would not happen if we don't have that family cooperation. I would never make it on my own. It's impossible. It's so important to have support. 12 months per year.
Right. Well, you should tell your families, your sister and your mom, collecting those napkins. Berlin is coming, and knock on, we say, to a long, fruitful festival journey for you and the team. And I hope you do actually get together on a physical festival and watch this.
Yeah. We are dreaming about Berlinale screening now. It's our big hope. And when Sundance, it was Christmas Eve, it was 6th of January, we are just sit all together with my family to eat kutya, and then Sundance send me a message to WhatsApp directly. They say, we want to say personally, please keep calm, but that news are coming, and they're like, we are with kutya, and then what should we do? And I immediately run and start to write emails to Berlinale to saying them, don't even think to bring us to online, please. We need to go and watch movie. And Berlin also, they did huge work about this communication with the municipalities, and I said them even that I would give Francesca name to the next character of my movie because of the chief of Berlin municipality, Frau Francesca. She allowed Berlinale to be in place, and yeah, it's our it's big hope now for us to watch in cinema.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. I know you have an exciting journey ahead. I hope you got to read the comments in the chat. People are saying how proud they are of you and how much they enjoyed the film. And
thank you.
I know I completely understand and I sympathize with you that you didn't get the full Sundance experience, and unfortunately you weren't able to see an audience in front of you watching this beautiful production. But we want to make it a little better by inviting some people to just join the stage and congratulate you, just however they can do it. And we look forward to the continued success of the movie. We would love to hear and see more about it. And maybe while I'm inviting people, you can say a few words on how people can keep track of what's going on, where they can go to read more news about the film, where they can follow you to learn about your next projects, what you're up to, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, we have social media. It's Klondike Movie in Instagram. It's Klondike Movie in Twitter, where we just retweet everything what people talk about the film. We have Klondike page in Facebook, more for Ukrainian audience, but still it's possible to read in Ukrainian language. And please watch movie during this weekend and write your feedbacks. It's absolutely important for us also to understand that there are real people who are watching the movie, that it's not totally virtual, you know, like people swallow when people writing, even they understand or not, but they're writing. It's kind of that important communication with artists, so important.
Just bought a ticket for tomorrow.
Cool. Cool.
Congratulations.
Want to use congratulations to everybody. Want to use this opportunity to maybe invite you to do a tour, and I can try putting you in touch with Ukrainian clubs, like our Ukrainian club in Kansas City area. We'll be happy to host. And there is also Ukrainian communities and the programs at the embassies and consulates.
Yeah. We are talking about that with Ukrainian embassy in States, and we are also in touch with programmers from local festivals. So our plan is to be presented during the year and to have parallel showings, cultural libraries, archive, universities. So we are also thinking about that, and actually Bahadur is working on that plans.
Excellent.
Instead, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for agreeing to be a panelist to everybody. This is hopefully so you can just see some faces and some names, and so you feel that people are supporting you and showing love to your film. Thank you so much for really this piece of art. Personally, as someone who tries to convey the Ukrainian narrative every day, this helps a lot, especially to an international audience. It's really important. Not everybody, words sometimes are not enough, and you need visuals, and film is very important in this process. So thank you. Here's just a small round of applause. I hope you can see and feel people also applauding you. Thank you so much for your time, for your efforts, for everything. Much success we wish to you, and enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you for
Great
listening
job.
us. And
Congratulations.
Okay.
Again, I want to thank to Razom for all that cool cooperation. Thank you a lot.
To many more chances to cooperate. We would love that. All right. Well, thank you. I'm ending the webinar. Thank you for joining, and have a great day, everybody.
Great
Bye.
job. Great job moderating.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, really. I would love to have this, as interview. I think it was cool.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.